Yeah, we had a good move yesterday after the news. We got into the Monday low. We swept that last Friday low down there and just immediately rejected. And yeah, nothing got triggered as far as the Casper stuff set up. Yeah. Evening, Jenny. So I do have a bus route again this morning, but it's not until about 6:15, which would be 7:15 for everybody else. So I got time. Yesterday it was a different part of the county I had to go run. It was weird. Picking up kids I really didn't know. Hey, no problem. No problem. It's been a rough few weeks for myself, to be honest, as far as even being able to look at the charts. So thanks for being here. We got London lows being taken out right now on the NASDAQ. I don't know about on the ES. Yeah, we're not there yet. Divergence between the two yesterday, where the ES was a lot stronger, made that high, where the NQ did not make the high. So NQ definitely the weaker of the two right now. Just below that median, probably going to come on back down. Like to me, just looking at it, we're working inside this range. I mean, the Monday range clearly, but also this news range. Oh, well, not news range, but yesterday's movement. You can look at it on the ES as well. Same range, sitting just below that 50%. Go out to a weekly. We're kind of in that spot where we're going to have to make a decision this week. Are we going to break through this fair value gap, or are we going to hold structure inside that fair value gap and continue lower? Like just kind of situated right here on the weekly. I was wanting to see this continue. Would like to have saw last week close somewhere up in here, then maybe get a little pullback on this week, and then next week go. But we came back down. I'm okay with this candle as far as it being, somewhat bullish. It's sitting in the 50% area of a range, right? So we did hit structure with it. We were inside a fair value gap, so it does mean quite a bit to me. But um, I'm not completely convinced of its bullishness just yet. um, wouldn't mind seeing this week's candle go ahead and close up a little bit higher into that structure. Get a little pullback on tomorrow. Like if this closes up here, then tomorrow, shaded candle, kind of a pullback. And then Friday go. Maybe we see something like that. Powell is speaking tomorrow at noon after the unemployment claims and existing home sales and stuff comes out. And Friday seems to be a pretty quiet day. So depending on how much he kills the market tomorrow, depending, will really depend on Friday's outcome. So today we might, well, this is not tomorrow. That's next week because I'm on a weekly calendar. There. Yeah, we're in a good spot. Um, but it's one of those like, we're consolidating, we're inside fair value gap. We've made a good bounce. Are we going to make that continuation? So overall, I don't know. 4 hour chart. We do have like a consequent encroachment right there on that wick. So that might be a good area if we do turn bullish, target or kind of a do or die. Like we break through that, we're going to continue. We don't, we're probably going to make new lows. This is one of those days, though. Probably a system type of trade would probably work better, right? Stick to a time, stick to a certain setup. If you get it, and then walk away just because, we're in the middle of this range. Use the Monday range as maybe, some reasons to be in or out. So, sitting right here at the median, going into a 15-minute chart. It's pretty bullish now, right? We're breaking down through the London lows pretty hard now. Um, like the hyperstructure, it also coincides with the tops of these areas where that order block might be. We could wick down through that though. Might be a better spot. So I'm actually going to remove this one. I'm going to go with that one. Mainly because this one was lower low, right? We took out these lows here inside that inefficiency, stopped on that structure there. Look further left. But this push made a new high, right? And it's really the high, right, that we're looking at. So I kind of like that low right there. Situated right there at the bottom of that fair value gap. I don't know if I see that. Let me open it up. So it tags at the top of that candle right there, which is this fair value gap. The rest of that inefficiency that hasn't been touched yet, that we are getting into now. So that might be kind of like the spot in which we continue. If we break through this, don't hold this area, then we're probably coming down here in the Monday low and the weekly. Got a lot of lines on this chart right now. This is the Fibonacci for that entire range from this low to that high. Yeah. OT, which is where we kind of got into and bounced. That's where we dropped all the way down to on Friday. And then we made that move up Monday. So probably going to leave that there. I mean, it's still pretty relevant. I kind of want to put it down here, but I don't. Like I do and don't at the same time. This was like the beginning of the last week, and this was a Friday move, and there's a lower low below that one, and it didn't really make a higher high. I mean, it created a range for this area, but this is the low of Monday last week. We never saw it again. So I think I'm just going to leave it there. So all I got is breaking down right now, and this is the area I'm pretty confident in. We can see a wick down into where I initially had it, and that'd be okay. But I think if it holds right there. Let's go to the NQ, see if we get some confluence. These two charts just look quite a bit different. A little bit harder to read on this one. So we got this weekly here and the Monday low. Pretty sure that if I pulled the same low from Monday last week to the high, this is going to be around the 70%. Yeah. Pretty good touch right there on the 79 reversal yesterday. Running into that 62 right now. So I mean this area, like I'm not using any one of these lines to like say here's my bouncing point. But notice how it did really interact with the 70 pretty good, right? Let me make this a little larger right here on this candle. Yeah, so this is the 70 line. I don't know if y'all can see that or not. Might need to darken up those lines a little bit. Might be a little better. This is the 6-2, 70 down here, which does get you all the way through into and through that fair value gap on the 15-minute chart. So, I mean, a good area to look at, but that's all it is to me is an area. Like, there's no one like key spot. Like on the ES, like I like this spot. I do. I like it. It's still in the premium of that range, but I like that spot. It's the stronger of the two um, markets. So bouncing in the premium section would not be a long shot. And I like that spot. And also to be the determining factor too. If we don't bounce here, we're probably coming way down here. This just looks cleaner. Broken structure. We've taken out London lows. Let's go ahead and get down a little bit further into this basically higher time frame point of interest, and then let's get a bounce from there, seeking out that liquidity right in here, and then the mean threshold. Or no, the consequent encroachment of that wick on the 4 hour. That's what that is. It's pretty good. It's a pretty good idea, pretty good plan to look for on the ES. Right. If yeah, even if we get down here, right, before open, which is obviously it looks like that's clearly what's going to happen. Even if we get down here, I'd like to see some consolidation, even dip a little bit further and then a go. Right. Um, if not something like that, then maybe we kind of fake out back to the top, clean up some of that inefficiency right in here, do it again, and then at open. Those are pretty good possibilities. Right. We got a little bit of liquidity here, inefficiency above it. So if we consolidate and try to bounce right here after taking out these London lows, I mean, we can always come back up in here. I'd hate to see that first. I'd rather see us get down in here. Obviously, the other scenario would be we get down in here early, we bounce, and then we trickle off again. And it looks something like that right there. Maybe not as wide of a range, but similar. And then consolidate afterwards again. And the reason, there's so many different scenarios is we're situated basically at the midpoint of this area of this range, even of the weekly, right? Monday low, Monday high. So we're right at the median. We've got liquidity here, liquidity there, inefficiency at the bottom, inefficiency at the top. Pretty good liquidity there and there. And we also have Powell speaking tomorrow. So this could be one of those seek and destroy type of days. We take out the lows, take out the highs. We trickle down, we take out the lows, we take out the highs. I don't know if we get too crazy with the broadening formation, but I would just, yeah. Oh, yeah, exactly. What's going on around the world, too. So that's where I would, I just, today I'd be a little cautious, but like stick to your system, right? Your 10 o'clocks, your Caspers. Um, you see liquidity taken out, like the London high, if you're playing the ES right here, and we've taken out some lows, and then we get up here and you take out the highs. I mean, that's one of your shallow trades, right? And play medium targets, right? No 50, 60, 70 pip moves or point moves. Another little reach on the NQ right here into this area that we're talking about would be similar to what would be happening on the ES, getting down into that area that I'm pointing out here. So I can see that. What's the dollar doing? Pretty much cleaned up everything right in there. Yeah. We have pretty much stalled right here though, right? Up, down, up, and then a lower low. We kind of pushed back up into it. We haven't taken out the highs yet. That's a pretty good bullish candle though on that day. Last week, last Thursday. News. What does a weekly look like? We still got this area and inefficiency above it. Middle of the month, middle of the range. I think we leave that behind. Might leave some of that behind at least. And I don't know if we make new highs on the dollar up in here. That would be crazy. You see us pushing a little bit further though, and then maybe turning around. But maybe some Christmas holiday push down, right? Safe haven in crazy time. So some bullishness, but maybe some holiday moves back down that helps the markets out as we go on towards the end of the year. So October probably finishes a little bullish, and then maybe November, December, we kind of pull back down. We'll see. In the meantime, nice little bounce right there off the Monday low, right there in that inefficiency. Look at that. Pretty. Played with it twice. Middle of that fair value gap. Yeah. So and I've noticed that too because I saw a lot of traders kind of moving to gold. Normally don't play gold. Um, and I thought that was kind of weird considering the dollar being as strong as it's been. So if they're starting to move into gold, then maybe that's a turnaround on the dollar. But I don't know. We're in the middle of a pretty good range right in here. So we're at the top and we're slowly, we slowed down. So the dollar's going to have to do something to really make me believe it's continuing, right? Like this was a pretty good push, but if we continue to fill this fair value gap, then I think we just keep going down. If we make a little bounce, then I think we come up here to buy side, or at least this buy side, right? I'll put a line on top of it. Yeah. Oh. Yeah, and see those are parts of the market where I don't know if I've got enough experience to really like talk about it like that. Like ICT just talked, like you were saying, there major superpowers moving into gold, eventually getting them off the dollar, stuff like that. Like I don't know if I have that experience yet. I've been doing it for a pretty good while, and I've played with the dollar and the forex and stuff, so I have a decent idea of structure and how some people move around in different markets, utilizing the dollar, utilizing gold. But me personally, I've never traded it enough, especially gold, to really understand, you know, who's doing it, or what's happening when it comes to that. But this looks a little more bullish, which I would say if we continue here to the Monday high, clearly, I think these markets continue to keep going down. We're probably pushing down into that level. Yeah. Yeah. I think just being safe, like I said, I think it's a system day. I think it's a definitely, I mean, we always want to stick to our plans and stuff like that, but I think it's definitely do not stray type of day. There you go. It's a good shirt. Do not stray type of day. Um, I really do like that structure area though. Just see what happens. We're getting into all that liquidity here and inefficiency. Got a place we could be bouncing from. So this is I like the ES more than I do the NQ. And that's the 627 down here. I think I'm gonna keep my eye on the ES a little bit today. That might be where I pull the trigger. So unfortunately, I gotta make it to a bus and get running down the road. This route's a smaller route and it's closer to the house, so but I gotta go take care of it. So I think I'm gonna call it right there. Again, yeah, thanks, man. Um, be safe. News, Powell tomorrow, and I'll be back in the morning. Y'all have a good rest of the day. Good to see you again, Jenny. Thanks, Chris.